Question from online, Brother Farid from Sweden. If a Muslim country comes together with the kuffar to fight Islamic rebels who fight against, quotation marks, Bashar, for example, is that kufr akbar?
Please mention the city, inshallah ta'ala. We'll come back to the question after he mentions the city. Next question, Nafis.
Initials MC from Lanham, Maryland, USA. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What are the rights of a child upon being born? Is a baby shower before the child's birth permissible? What should be done? Barakallahu feekum.
What are the rights of the child? I believe we answered this question before. Maybe we got cut off with regards to the time. And we mentioned that there are rights before the child is born, such as picking a righteous wife, picking a righteous husband, selecting your mate, your spouse from good stock, as we say, a righteous seed, pure, fertile soil, making dua upon consummating the marriage, asking Allah for protection and for refuge against the accursed devil, not to harm the child, physically, mentally, or spiritually. From the rights of the child is that you feed your wife with the halal, you feed your wife with the tayyib, and you give her the necessary nutrition, the necessary vitamins, the necessary minerals, physical, spiritual, and mental. And we always try to make a focus, place emphasis on these three tiers: physical, mental, spiritual, mind, body, and soul. Very important. Certain things that you eat and drink that have an effect on your body. Certain things you eat and you drink have an effect upon your mind, how you think. And certain things have an effect that you eat and you drink upon your spirit. It's dirty, it's filthy, it's immoral. So many people, they take care of their wives, they feed their children with the best foods, organic foods. But is it spiritually organic? Is it spiritually organic? No, it's spiritually GMO. Full of insecticides, full of colors, preservatives, full of all types of hormones, spiritual filth, from riba, from drugs, from robbing countries, we say this all the time, third world countries, of their resources. And the list goes on, making things to kill Muslims and whatever the case may be, that's khabith. The Messenger of Allah, he told us, وَأَيُّمَا جِسْمٍ نَبَتَ مِنْ سُحْتٍ فَالنَّارُ أَوْلَى بِهِ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. He says any body, any human body that's nourished from suht, from illegal means, filthy means, then the fire is its place. It goes to burn. So feed your wife the necessary things that she needs to eat for herself and for the child, and make sure that it's halal and it's tayyib. And it's not your luxury, your comfort did not come at the expense of another man's suffering and misery. At another man's suffering and misery. And it's not just about urban, as many people think. It's much deeper than that. We don't try to answer questions with the different racial, tribal hang-ups that many people have. The drug dealer is no different between someone who sells drugs in the urban city than a man who has on a suit and a tie. And he has a suitcase and a briefcase. And he steals and he robs and he's a criminal as well. And people are suffering in the country at the expense of his decimals. This is a reality. This is not saying that you have that. No, you don't have on a suit and tie. You just have on a tie. Alhamdulillah, you left the jacket in the car. This is very important. The concept of eating from a good source. And many people, they get caught up and they get stuck, Osama. And they think that haram money is only what? Pork, swine, and drugs. It's deeper than that. Whether you're in a bank, a firm, a company, anything that's against Allah and His Messenger. Everybody understand this? We must understand this clearly, that haram is the haram. And it's one of the reasons why the Jews were cursed and banished, and they gained Allah's anger. وَأَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ. Allah says, they ate suht. وَأَكْلِهِمُ الرِّبَى وَقَدْ نُهُوا عَنْهُ. They ate riba, and Allah had made it forbidden to them. And there are many verses in the Quran regarding that. Also, make sure that you teach your wife. You educate your wife. You give her the necessary ilm, the necessary dhikr. Only Allah knows what the baby can hear. Only Allah knows what the baby can feel. Your wife is going to be the very first teacher of your child. Your wife is going to be the first principal, the first school, the first sheikh. The first madrasa is your wife's lap, your wife's bosom, your wife's hip, your wife's back, your wife's neck. That is the first school the child is going to attend. So wouldn't it make sense to educate your wife and to teach your wife and not to keep her ignorant? Don't read a book. Don't go to the masjid. I don't want you to learn. I don't want you to study Arabic. This is the mindset of many brothers today, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And then they wonder what happened with their children. Why my children want to pray? Why my children want to practice Islam? Look what you did with the mother. You prevented her from learning, and she had the ability and the desire to learn. Constantly make dua that Allah allow the child to be born in the most complete fashion, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, physically, mentally, and spiritually. When the child is raised, allow the child to be fed and nourished once again through permissible means. The milk of the mother that goes into the baby's belly should come from something that's tayyib as well. Educate the child. Give the child a good Islamic name. The ulama, they mentioned from the rights of the child over the parent is that they have a good Islamic name, a good thorough name, whether it's an Arabic name or not. The best names, without a doubt, the names of the prophets, of the messengers, Abdullah, Abdurrahman, Mustafa, Muhammad, Ahmed, Ibrahim, Ismail, wahakadha, Yunus, Idris. Everybody understand this? Now, many people, they get caught up with the cultural Islam. I don't have to name my son an Arabic name. We're not Arabs. Tayyib. No one said that you did. But what's better? Ibrahim, Ismail, Abdurrahman. So those aren't Arab names as well, akhi. Ibrahim, he wasn't Arab. He wasn't Arab. It's translated. But it's in that what? Arabic language. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِسْمَاعِيل. Huh? Everybody understand this? So give your child a good name. If it's a girl, you give your child a good, meaningful name. One of the sahabiyat, one of the righteous women of the past. And if you don't have a name of a sahabiyah or one of the righteous women of the past, then at least a good, beautiful name that doesn't have a bad meaning. If it's an African name, West African name, a Malaysian name, al-muhim, positivity. And only Allah knows the extent of symbolicism that is contained in the name. Everybody understand this? That's contained what? In the name. We can relate to this in urban culture, pop culture today. Roots. What was the name? His name was what? Kunta Kinte. When he went through a difficulty, when he went through a trial or a tribulation, when he was oppressed, what's the first thing that he thought about? His what? His name. And his father held him up. Behold. And he gave him a name. And then when he had a child, he what? Gave him a name. A symbolic name, a meaningful name. He named his daughter Kizzy. Stay put. Not to be sold, not to be lost, but to stay put. Symbolicism in the name. And we live in a time in which many people, they say names don't mean anything. It doesn't matter, just, doesn't have whatever name. That's not true. The first thing you do when you get in the gang, what do you do, Sheikh? What do? They give you what? A new kunya. You're no longer what? Robert. Your name is what? Whatever it is. Get rid of that name. This is what you're now known by. And that's what you like people to call you. And you take it as disrespect if somebody called you by your government name.
You're right.
It's not the case, Sheikh?
No Charlie no more.
That's right. So therefore, we say is that you give the child a good name. You make the aqiqah for the child. If it's a boy, inshallah, 2 animals. If it's a girl, just 1. You shave the head of the baby, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and you make dua for barakah. And you make it well known to the people, this is my son. This is my daughter. Take pride in that. Take pride in what Allah has given you. This is my son. Allah gave me a baby. Allah gave me a boy. Allah gave me a girl. Alhamdulillah. And it should be known that this is your child and that you try your best, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, to raise them, to nurture them physically, mentally, and spiritually. Allow your child to learn the Quran. Give your child a chance to study, to benefit, to be something, a good education, a good career, and the list goes on. As far as a baby shower, before the child is born, then let's ask ourselves the question, what is a baby shower? What is a baby shower? What does it mean in our culture, in English? In Egypt, it's a different story. In Sudan, different story. In English, what is a baby shower? A baby shower is what? Is a party in which women have, sisters have, they get together, they bring gifts, they sit, drink tea, biscuits and cakes, they laugh, they joke, they give gifts, they talk about the baby, they help out the lady and they offer her things. There are many people that say it's haram. Can't have a baby shower. Baby shower is imitating the kuffar. A baby shower is from the Romans, it's from the Greeks, it's kada, it's kada, it's kada, it's kada, it's kada. But then what will they do at Abu Saeed? They'll have a what? They'll have a henna party. They'll have a get-together over Sister Halima's house. They'll come over. What will they bring Sister Halima? Gifts, Make dua for her, give her money, give her suggestions for a name. They'll sit, they'll talk, they'll read some hadiths until Maghrib, until Isha, until their husband says, come home, it's time to go home. What's the difference between that and a what?
Right.
Except for the name, the title. So call it what you want. Is it haram for Muslims to gather, to make dua, to give gifts? Taban. No one in any sense is going to say that. So names are not necessarily the important thing. It's the actual content. It's the what? It's the content. Everybody understand this? It's the content. It's very important for us never to lose focus. And there are many of us who are caught up in petty details and names and titles, and we're totally blinded from the actual content, the the kernel. And we're worrying about the stuff on the outside. Not saying that it isn't important on the outside. Everybody understand this? Both are important, but at the expense. So that's what I think with regards to a baby shower. Allah Azza wa Jalla surely knows best.